Absolutely, that's nice.
Good. All right. The regular meeting of the South Colony Board of Education will be called to order. First, roll call. Thomas Blakely.
Here.
Brian Casey. Stephanie Cogan here. Vincent Forenzo.
Here.
Rose Gigliello.
Here.
Jennifer Houlihan.
Here.
Michael Keane.
Here.
David Keel.
Here.
Christopher Larrabee.
Here.
Robert Misick.
Here.
Will you please stand for the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda item number 3, approval of the minutes. This is to look at the minutes of the regular meeting of August 26th, 2025. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll take a motion. Mr. Blakely, seconded. Mr. Misick. On the motion made by Mr. Blakely, seconded by Mr. Misick, that the minutes of the regular meeting of August 26th, 2025 be approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Agenda item number 4, Dr. Perry, Superintendent update.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Cohen. First of all, I just want to welcome everyone back to the 25-26 school year. It starts off with a fury, and we do enjoy having the kids back and the hustle and bustle that's going on every single day. So to our families, welcome back. Hopefully we're off to a good start. Overall, we got to where we needed to be to open up our classrooms. If you had seen some of the imagery mid-August and even in Labor Day weekend, it was a work in progress, but I'm happy to report we've got some real good improvements that are going on. Some are still in progress, but making some good headway, and we'll show a little bit of that later today with the summer project update. The cell phone policy implementation, just give you a little update on that. Majority of the action is at the high school, but it's relatively positive. I think we're trending in the right direction. It's obviously a work in progress, but what I see on a daily basis is students talking in the cafeteria, students being respectful in the hallways. We've had a minor list of infractions where devices have been taken away and returned at the end of the day, but that's to be expected in any school year, but certainly manageable. So we appreciate our families and our students for their support. And the middle schools so far, I think there's still 0 issues of cell phones. So haven't heard anything at the elementary level. I'm assuming no news is good news. Never know, but things are working out pretty well overall. So we'll work through some of the challenges with late buses. I appreciate families. Our transportation department has done really a good job minimizing any disruptions and things like that. So thank you to Brian Sim and his staff, and to Annette and Maddie and our food service department, off to a good start with our meals and things like that. I was talking to the students today. One of the highlights last week was cowboy caviar, which is kind of a salsa, but doctored up and looks good, and had some beans, but good taste. And we're trying to get our kids to eat a little healthier and try some new things. So kudos to our food service department for implementing that, as well as some of the fresh vegetables that they're working on to implement in our school cafeterias. We'll defer a little bit over to Mr. Cacciadarian, talk a little bit about middle school updates on music.
Sure, not a problem. And welcome everyone on behalf of Friends of Music and just supporters of our students and advocates. Last night I was receiving emails, as was Dr. Perry, and I knew today was going to be a day that I was going to dedicate to making sure that I had a lot of conversations with individuals. So those who have reached out, either directly to me, to the Board of Education, Dr. Perry, I spent the day trying to engage in thoughtful conversation to make sure that we were able to hear each other and listen and see what the concerns were, see where they stemmed from, and had 11 conversations today, all around a half an hour or so. Just great discussion of what people were understanding to be kind of rumor turning into truth, as narrative sometimes goes, and learning about the origins of things. I was very curious as to where some of the information came from, and as we kind of make our way through all the conversations today, a bit of the telephone game came into play, which is understandable when you don't have, a full picture or all of the facts. But at this point, I'll skip through all of the why, because there are a lot of whys that go into place. But I had asked Mrs. Fazioli, the music department specifically, to take a look at our lesson structures and to see if at all possible, we could try and preserve our core courses and what that would mean for our student experiences. And they had done dutifully as best they could to put together what that would look like. And specifics to how that was structured at Sand Creek was a major concern, because as we know, Sand Creek is the larger of our two buildings. The Title I building has some needs, and it also has a very diverse population that we have to make sure that we're being thoughtful when we're doing our scheduling. So as we did that, and the information was presented to me by Mrs. Fazioli on Friday, the information, as she looked at me and I looked back at her, she said it doesn't work. And it was very clear that it didn't work in regards to kids being pulled out of both math and ELA. Now, I'll say on paper, it certainly does work, but we all know, and as I've said today multiple times, on paper and in practicality are two very different things. And that's what we needed to make sure that we kind of lend the human common sense to, and made sure, all right, as we keep working through the iterations of this, what does it mean if ELA, which we know is a common binder for all of our success rates in something like science and something like social studies, if that is remain as an untouchable area in which a lot of our students are going to remain in there, stay intact, have full heterogeneous groups, and make sure that our instruction is sound for all students to be part of that. And then we add back in math, add in a consideration of pulling from lunch. What does that look like for the student experience overall? And as we did that iteration, and I spoke to Mrs. Fazioli about it, she said, "Yep, I'm on it." She was going to work with the music department today on yesterday, on what that meant, come up with some more data, look at the structure, work with our counselors as well. So we have multiple voices lending their perspective to see what is reasonable. And she was supposed to, Mrs. Fazioli, report back to me in regard to that today. She did, and I said before we even got into that, when we finished our conversation on Friday, no matter what, we need to get going with our lessons. Obviously, 5th grade is a little bit stymied because it takes the full first 10 days before they begin, but 6th through 8th, if we miss a 1 and 6 day cycle, okay, we can make up that, but we need to make sure that we're cognizant on getting back on track for our student population. So that's our timeline. We're looking to get as many started tomorrow. That causes a little bit of stress for our teachers, which I don't want to do. I talked with Mr. Ryan about that today. So whatever is reasonable, if it's not tomorrow, let's try and get these kids scheduled for our lessons. But the end game, as we looked at what that data was presented to me as today with Mrs. Fazioli, and we both looked again and shook our heads and said it doesn't work. It can work on paper. It is better than both the math and the ELA, as you would imagine. But it's not something that I want to invest in, and the student experience is going to continue to deteriorate in some of our elective classes where it's just not reasonable enough. And this is all considering what we need to maintain within our music lesson instruction. Small groupings, like skill, like instrument, and just making sure every time we do it, we plan it with a robust experience in mind. Sometimes the groupings are 1, 2, 3. Sometimes the groupings might grow up to 5 and 6. But what we want to avoid is like wholesale losing student population. Our compromise in all of this is looking at that professional discourse between our core courses, like we already have existing with math and accelerated math. If students can not be pulled from there, preferably, that's what we try and do. Much the same when we look at our ELA classes. Let's say the example that I've been using today is if it's the beginning of a research paper, and that is a very important foundational lesson for our students to participate in, then that ELA teacher should work with the student, work with the music teacher, and we should try to make sure that all of those students are part of that first lesson so we have the foundational work to move forward intelligently and thoughtfully. So that's where we are. Professional discretion, making sure that we have open discourse and dialogue, and certainly none of this was meant to take away from an experience that we know is tried, true, traditional, and something that we're very proud of. It was meant to try and look at it from a different way, where I say, in an ideal world, if we can keep all kids in ELA, but still have the same experience on the other end of music without there being a deterioration of other electives, is it possible? Again, possible and practical aren't always going to meet head to head. So we had to, look at everything from a whole sense and then be able to pivot as we needed to. And that's essentially what it was. Some conversations that happened, unfortunately, may have been a little bit of the cart ahead of the horse. And now we have to make sure that we correct all of those conversations as we move forward. It doesn't mean that we might not revisit this and look at other structures in other school districts to see how they're able to provide more music lessons and not interrupt as much of the daily experience, but that's to be determined later. And that's currently where we are with the state of things with music and the resolutions we're able to work through, but it needed to work through itself as far as the data analysis and the conversations that had to unfold.
Thanks, Tom. And I just want to reiterate, I think some of the messaging got out there that we were cutting programming. There is no cutting of programs. Staffing has been the same as it was last year and will continue to be that. And we'll look at ways to continue to enhance that. We're looking at ways to maximize classroom time as well as lesson time, but not at the expense of any one subject area. The other thing right now for fifth graders, which has happened traditionally, is this is kind of the recruiting period. We want to make sure that they're getting an opportunity to visit the band room, the orchestra room, the choral room, so that they can make an educated choice in terms of the type of musical performing program they want to be involved with. So they would not be in lessons right now, but we are working on some adjustments and appreciate everybody's input. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
That's all I have.
Yes, thank you very much, both Mr. Ketchikoy and Dr. Perry. Agenda item number 5, new business. Mr. Blake.
So I was able to go to our varsity's first home football game, and I want to give them a really big congrats on a successful season start at 2-0. So congrats to Coach LaPointe on starting off his head coaching career at 2-0. That's awesome. Good for him. The vibe and the turnout was amazing. We had our junior Wolfpack parents there and kids. The town showed up in mass. The kids showed up in mass. It was really awesome environment. So fun to see for those kids to get to experience that for their first Friday night late game, which was nice. And I also want to say, welcome back, everybody. My kids are saying they're having a good year so far at school, and I have to say that if they're telling me that, that means we're doing things right. So glad to hear it so far.
Thank you very much. Mr.
I was
Larry.
luckily able to attend the very nice, and I've gone a few years, to the 9/11 ceremony at the
Yes.
high school on the Hill of Heroes. If anybody hasn't been through the high school, to drive over there and take a look at that. And just a shout out to high school grade level principal Tess McCarthy for stepping in and in the last second singing the national anthem when the singer was late to the event. So phenomenal rendition too. I mean, unbelievable.
How can she do that?
Without a warm up,
Didn't even stepped right up, just ran right up there and sang it. And on the same thing about the cell phone stuff, I was great to hear my son the other day, didn't even bring it up. And he said, you know what, it's really helping me pay attention a little more. And so
You don't say.
I was really thrilled to hear that.
Very good. Thank you very much. Ms. Houlihan.
I wanted to lift something that I intended to lift at our last meeting. I really want to applaud the district for the summer meal program and the volume of meals served this summer. It exceeded what I thought it would be maybe in a year one. And I'm looking forward to, I don't remember the exact numbers off my head, top of my head, but
It was
Over
impressive.
3,000.
yeah.
Impressive.
And I think that when we're talking about like our Title I schools and we're talking about food insecure families, I think that that's really critical. And I'm looking forward to, what possibilities year 2 holds for folks. And so I applaud the district's effort to ensure that our kids are fed over the summer and their families win.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Forenzo.
On behalf of the students at the high school, I would like to say that the phone policy is going much better and going very well than I think any of us thought it would. And it's going phenomenally. And I've been seeing personally a lot more communication between students. I've learned so many new card games during lunch because we don't have our phones.
You mean somebody brings a deck of
Hopefully,
cards?
Oh, yeah.
That's terrific.
So many cards.
That's terrific.
Hopefully,
No money involved, yeah.
Who knows?
Along with that,
Never split time.
in between, during classes, I've seen far less people in the hallway, a lot less bathroom use, unnecessary bathroom use. Overall, the start of the school year is going very well. And the only issue at the high school right now, it's not an issue, construction. The classrooms look great. It's moving along, but we're getting through it. And lastly, I want to congratulate one of our board members, Ms. Gigliello. She had her granddaughter on August 28th, and I would like to congratulate her and her daughter. And her daughter, Julie, who I got to know last year through eye care, another lovely, amazing person. Congratulate the entire Giglio Caldera family.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Masick.
Yes, I just wanted to recognize a 2024 alum. A week before school started, the facilities committee had a chance to tour Leisure and Veeder, and we had a chance to see Maggie Van Dyke. She's interning with our contractor, our GC Schoolhouse, and it was good to see her. She had a hard hat on and she's doing an internship. She goes to Hudson Valley, and she told us what she's going for, but I forget. It's been a couple
It's
weeks.
construction management.
Construction management. And it was cool to see all the subcontractors calling her by her first name and just treating her with a lot of respect. And it was great. It's great to see. So congratulations to her, and she has a bright, bright future in skills and trades. So
Excellent.
Very good. That's true. Very good. Mr. King.
Also got to do the 9/11 ceremony. Kudos to the eye care team for helping guide and lead that. Attended both football games. The Saturday was kind of a test run because about a third of the crowd that was there last week. But folks have been well behaved. There's a good energy and such. So exciting to see where the season goes. Got to attend the PTSA meeting last Monday. Always interesting to hear things as the kickoff echoed. The phone policy has been going well. Mr. Burrell did mention card games include things like Uno is coming in. He's purchased some items. Connect Four, some different activities that don't have to be done virtually. And I did want to plug something because it can impact our community. On Sunday, there's a special needs expo at the Albany Marriott put on by Jennifer Fogg, who we inducted into our Hall of Fame this past June. I have buy-in for my own, but it's a really great opportunity for folks to see the different resources that don't always find when you go to a life plan meeting and some of that. So it's kind of one-stop shopping for those that have some varying needs now and for their future planning.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much. Mr. Casey.
To back up what Michael just said, she was on Channel 10. They did an interview today with Jennifer, and it was well received. Very nice job. I have to commend the transportation department for getting all those prized possessions to the schools mostly on time, but everybody got there. So kudos to Brian Sim, the director, and all his people. And I have not heard, unless somebody can tell me differently, we didn't lose anybody taking them home. I think all the kids that went all got home. Maybe not an exact time period, but they got home. So kudos to Brian and his folks at the transportation department. To transport all of those kids on the first day of school, I can only imagine. So thank you to Brian and his team over there. Thank you.
And the transportation department is doing a bus rodeo.
Mr. Keen.
I'll defer to Madam President.
Can I add on one more comment? SEPTA, since we were talking about the special education, SEPTA is hosting a picnic in the park at Cook Park on the 27th. All are welcome. It is not just for special education families or 504 families, it's for everybody who are seeking an inclusive and welcoming space in the town.
Shambrook Parkway, Pole Barn.
Correct.
Well, very good. And I think this is our annual reminder too. We've all been involved with the PTA, Parent Teacher Association. By the time you get to high school, it's a Parent Teacher Student Association. Please join one, please join all. Your membership, they're not gonna come out and drag in, make you do stuff, I promise you. If you wanna step up and do stuff, that's terrific, but this just shows your support. This is education, I always call it the Educational Booster Fund, all right? So we have all of that stuff on our website. You just go to the school specific and you click join the PTA, all right? The other thing, I was just saying, have we had a board meeting since our O&M picnic?
Yes.
We have, okay. I thought I had talked about that. Okay, thank you very much. And then October 3rd, and I'm sorry, October 3rd is the big Hall of Fame game. And the induction of the Hall of Fame, Athletic Hall of Fame folks. And that's going to be starting at 6 o'clock.
Be 5 o'clock
5
in the
o'clock.
high school auditorium
Okay.
for the inductions.
Mhm.
I'll transfer over to the field around 6:15. Introduction of the new inductees at the midfield around 6:30, and then we will have the unveiling of the press box and naming the press box around 6:40,
Excellent.
6:45. Kickoff at 7.
Please, yeah. And I'm just checking Mr. Keen, the bus rodeo, gonna have the first ever bus rodeo at Sand Creek Middle School. That'll be October 18th, so we still have a board meeting to talk
Okay.
about.
Get people psyched and,
Yes.
you know, maybe some folks will want to do their own test drive beforehand to try and
Yep.
win the
we're always looking
rodeo.
for- We're always,
Yeah.
well, and yeah, there'll be a special driver there. I don't know if she will or she won't make it. It all depends if I can get some practice in before I actually step in.
I told Mr. Sim, Sand Creek was a great spot to teach my kids to drive.
That's
so
right, the big yellow.
Now I get
bus.
to, now it's my turn.
That's right, that's right. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Keel.
Yes, I was at the tenure teacher
Yes.
reception today, which is very nice. And everybody I spoke to was so positive and they were having a good start to their year and they're so positive about teaching our youth. So that was wonderful. And Vince, maybe you can fill us in. Maybe we talked about this before, but anyway, the freshman orientation, you were a big part of that. I was only there for the one meeting, so I didn't see all the other activities. Can you tell us it's wonderful because they get the two different schools, middle schools together as freshmen. And could you tell us something more about it?
So Monday through Thursday is freshman orientation. So they come in the morning and then leave about half day, but they do different workshops with different teachers. And one of the workshops is about mental health and talking about not only mental health, physical health, all that, and going to the high school and changes that you'll be experiencing mentally, because it's a different experience than middle school, of course. And then there's another one where there's a panel of high school students. Normally it's like juniors and seniors that answer questions and talk to the freshmen and just give all of our information about the high school to the freshmen. And then at the end of the week, we invite all of them to come to the freshman day of service, which is this year was sponsored by iCare. We worked with iCare's Charity of the Year, the Albany Housing Coalition, and we got to go to one of their locations and help their cause. And it's an amazing program, and like a lot of our board members said at our last meeting, it is a program that hopefully we'll be able to grow more. And I'm so lucky to have gotten to work with it. I'm looking forward to next year working with the freshmen.
Thank you. Yes, I think there's roughly 400 new freshmen, roughly. And I think something like 100, was that the number that participate,
We had
more
close
than
to almost half of the freshmen.
Really? Okay.
Wow.
I think it was about 180.
Wonderful.
That's great.
So it's a great thing because, as I said, coming from two different schools, they didn't know each other, they get to know each other and they get off to a great start on the year. So it's a great program.
And just one more comment, as everybody knows, the members of this Board of Education, we are not paid. This is a volunteer position. We put a lot of time in, and it it really impresses me how much time each of you spends in our school community. And I really thank you for that. That's great. We are plugged in. You want to be right there. You want to be there. You want to be accessible. So thank you all for your dedication to our Board of Education. All right. Agenda item number 6. This is the public commentary period. We do have 4 in person and we have 10 online comments. Now, every single one of them are about the music program. Correct? Nobody else had. This is about the music program. You are welcome to speak. But as Mr. Cacciadorian, what he did, he explained the issue, he discussed the problems, and he described the fix. So I think a lot of your questions were answered. If you have other questions, you are more than welcome to speak to them. We usually keep it just very brief. If this is all about music, we can have about 15 minutes of time total. The online ones, Dr. Perry is going to send to the board so we can all read them. But again, they're all on the same exact issue. All right. So saying that, I will call up whoever is here and would like to speak. If you choose you don't want to speak, just say so. All right. Thank you very much. Jennifer McDowell.
I appreciate the clarification that you gave, and I don't need to speak at this time.
Thank you very much. Sarah Diodato. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Thank you. Sarah.
Yes, I would like to speak.
Of course.
First of all, I'm the president of South Colony Friends of Music this year. This is my first year as president. And first I want to address Dr. Perry and Mr. Cacciadorian, and I want to thank you for reaching out to people who contacted you today, myself included, and explaining what was going on. I'm here on behalf of the parents that came to our meeting last night with some frustration and confusion, and I'm happy that you addressed that information. But I do want to just take a moment to reiterate that if the thought of visiting this decision comes up again, I do have concerns that when you talk about restricting lesson times, it might be part of a bigger trend that could lead to decline in music in the district. And by trend, I mean, we're already a district that starts our kids in performing groups later than other districts. So if you talk about also restricting lesson times, that sets us back even farther. Fourth grade orchestra was eliminated during COVID and it has not been brought back. Other districts have brought their elementary school performing groups back. Last year, I heard a story from a middle school parent who was told, or whose daughter was told, that if she wanted to take accelerated sciences, that instead of taking band, she should take a study hall. And now if we do revisit the idea of restricting lessons time, making it so that kids have to be in larger groups where there's less differentiation, where stronger kids are paired with kids that are still trying to get the basics down, that's going to cut into their ability to kind of progress in their musical instruction, and that's going to down the line cut into their abilities and time to pursue things like NISMA, area all-state, suburban council, and stuff that we tout as an example of musical excellence in this district, and also helps them in college applications, no matter what major they're planning to pursue. And this is an important issue to me. Both of my daughters, I believe they've graduated, but they really thrived in the music program here. I don't think their lives would have turned out the same if they didn't have some of the opportunities they had in this district. And when they were here, I always told them they were very lucky to be here, that this is lightning in a bottle, what you have here. The opportunities that are available to the students, not every kid gets. So I just want to say I really want to see us to continue to be a best community in music education. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Carolyn Kelly. Yes.
Also wanted to thank you for Mr. Cacciadorian for replying to my email as well, and we had a good conversation, and happy to hear that, you know, the music lessons will continue as usual because it was difficult for the teachers to kind of schedule around that, and look forward to, you know, the district and the board, you know, supporting music in the future, as she had said. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Michelle Chiappone?
Yes, right. I also want to thank you, and the conversation that was had between Mr. Kacharian and Dr. Perry, it really does make us feel heard. And so we want to make sure that you understand that we are coming from a place of striving for the best for our children. And as an educator myself, I know how hard it is to be under the weight of a test score, and I understand that completely. I know that you have phenomenal teachers in this district, and like what Ms. Kelly was saying, we are lightning in a bottle. Like we believe garnet and gold. Like I lived here, I grew up here, so I love our school district, and I just want to make sure we maintain that rigor, but also to keep the love of the children. Because yesterday my daughter came to the meeting, and she's like, every time she's like, can they really do that, Mom? Can they really? And I'm like, we're trying hard not to, but the kids want to show support as well. So like, if you have a seventh grader who really wants to thrive and really does love music, and at first she didn't love music the way that she does now, it just speaks volumes to the educators you have in your district. So thank you for hearing us and for commenting and coming back to us about it.
Thank you very much. And I will say, you're preaching to the choir here. My 2 out of my 3 kids where the music continued to be a huge influence of their lives. I think a lot of the board members are the same. And it also goes to explain things aren't decided willy-nilly. There's always something, and it's always for the betterment of the kids. And you have to seek out that answer. And if coming to the board meeting, that's fine. But I will tell you too, ask. You can always find out what the explanation is, and it does make sense. We are doing the best we can. You all know, everybody's on a fixed income, not just senior citizens. Everyone's on a fixed income. We only have so many resources. We're trying to do the best by all of our children. And by being an excellent district for music we're very, very proud of that. And we're doing the best we can for everything in our district. And our only goal is to provide the best education we can for our children. All right, thank you very much. At this point, we're going to continue on with the board meeting. You are more than welcome to stay because I think it's very interesting and exciting. But if you'd like to leave, you may take your leave now. And I thank you all very much for coming. Agenda item number 7, board committee reports.
Thank you as always for your service.
Have a good night, folks. Thank you.
All right, board committee reports 7A, transportation and facilities. Mr. Casey is here. If you'd like to make any comments on that, or if anybody has any questions. That was on August 20th, 25, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm surprised that they didn't all want to hear the report.
I know.
I want to hear about it.
Michelle, you and I talk all
It
the
is
time.
very
I hear about it.
Talk electric buses to me.
A couple of things, again, I'll entertain any questions that the board has, but a couple of things have jumped out at me here, and I don't think a lot of people really understand what this transportation department does here in this district. We transport kids, I'm gonna just read these rather quickly here, 62 different schools, 326 field trips, 767 athletic trips, 734,000 miles were driven. There were a couple of accidents, 2 of them were staff's fault out of the 7. The buses get inspected every year by the New York State Department of Transportation, and 98.4% of the buses passed. A little low this year, usually it's 99 and above. Anyone that is listening or watching on TV, if you're looking for something to do, we have 11 open spots for drivers, a place for a mechanic, and a couple of monitors. One of the disturbing things that I think everyone in this room has a concern with is passing the stop school buses. In Albany County, I believe this is last year, 3,700 tickets were issued by Albany County for passing stop school buses. 3,700 tickets. October was the highest month with 580 tickets. That's a lot. That's unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. We do have an electric bus on the way. It should be here if it isn't already. Not yet?
Not quite.
Okay.
Still
And we're
charging.
still waiting. We're gonna take a ride on that one. And we're still waiting for one of our diesel buses from last year. And that's about all I have, unless there's a question.
And that
Dr.
stop
Perry,
is
I
both.
forget, what's the electric bus? It's a 16 passenger, right?
It's a 24
24,
passenger,
right.
yeah, so it is
Yeah.
a smaller bus.
And what's it gonna be used for?
It'll be used for our special needs runs. It may be used for a smaller field trip or athletic trip, but predominantly for. our-
Shorter runs though, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, within district, I mean, it
Yeah.
should have a mileage transport ability to go close to 200 miles. What they do estimate is that for a full-scale bus, and our fleet would have to charge, a full bus would have to charge midday in order to complete all of our runs. So this is kind of a dipping our toes in the water to see how it's going. I have talked to some neighboring districts that were ahead of us with purchasing, and they received 3 new buses and they're all in the shop. So we're happily that we're buying diesel still, and we are going to work through the EV and hopefully continue to progress in that area.
Dr. Perry, correct me if I'm wrong, the electric bus didn't cost us anything. Got it through
Well,
a
because
grant?
of grants between the federal and the state government, the net cost is $0. The overall cost of the bus is over a few $100,000, but we do have grants through 2 different areas that provided it.
So this would be the test bus.
Correct.
Okay. No
And even
cost to
the charger,
taxpayers.
the fast charging station is grant funded for this particular bus. That won't be the case for every bus moving forward. It's kind of that, buy your first one at grant funded, no cost, and in the future that the cost will be there. So we get aided about 55% on every transportation dollar we spend. So if we have a bus that's $400,000, we'll get about 55% of that back. But there's still a significant increase in cost compared to the diesel buses, which are about $225,000 each.
So is there a training that must go on for our mechanics to,
There will be. Most of the diesel buses are serviced in-house with the exception of some of the body work. But the EV buses will have to be serviced right now at Matthews Bus Depot up in Saratoga, where they have the equipment and they have the staff that can do that. We're hopeful that in the future, our staff will be trained, we'll be able to do that, but it takes 2 individuals to work on the EV bus compared to 1 mechanic working on the diesel bus due to some of the safety concerns that are involved with it. So not only is it training, it's also having the right infrastructure for that. With our new transportation facility in the future, we'll have that built in. We'll have that, hopefully that training going in. And regionally, I think we're working on those things as we progress up.
And you mentioned regionally, because as more districts, Matthews seems to be the only location to really get
They
the
are
work done.
for Thomas Built buses that we
Okay.
use. Bluebird's another company, there's other companies that handle that. Matthews is the Thomas representative in this area. So they get them from the factory in North Carolina. And when they're brought up here, then they're stickered and provided the New York State requirements for the lights and all that kind of stuff, which is sometimes different states.
Just worry about the backlog with, others.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges, Mike, is when they break down, they're having to be towed to Saratoga, which is where Matthews facility's out of. That may expand or change in the future. Some of the issues, ironically, are electrical. They're not necessarily, a bad frame or anything like that. It's just the software and electrical is what I understand. So I don't want to discount. I think this is a good starting point for us, and hopefully this bus will work well for us. But they are out of service more than diesel buses just by the nature of their upkeep and the type of upkeep that goes into them. So.
Chris, you had a question?
Oh, yeah, for all you drivers that have been either driving for years or new to the roads, that is both sides that you need to stop
Yeah.
for the buses. And one other thing I saw at pickup the other day, I just wanted to do a quick congrats on those staff members that I saw the student drivers our driver's ed program has started up. I saw them the other day when they were coming out of the vehicle or going over the vehicle with the staff. And congrats to those teachers or staff, whoever signed up for that. I know it was a rigorous to do,
We have
but
two teachers trained, and thank you to Albany County, from the bus tickets that they've had. Albany County, County Executive McCoy and his office helped support our teachers being trained and paid for the cost of training to allow us to run that program. And, we use our own vehicle. Our transportation department puts the second set of, brakes and, mirrors on. And then we have two teachers that are working through, I think there's 16 students.
8 for the first
Eight for the first, okay. 8 and 8 will be the piece. So
Great.
starting off, hoping to expand it next summer with additional staff being trained, and it's a good starting point to refresh a program that unfortunately was dormant because we didn't have a staff trained.
thank you.
Very good. Any further questions? Thank you, Mr. Casey.
No problem.
7B, communications, that is Mr. Keen.
That is. Questions, ever had a chance? One of the takeaways, Dana Lenseth has joined our communications team. Dana's got a press background, which has been beneficial. Mr. Cacciatore and Dr. Perry both made appearances on opening day, and so I think utilizing some of those relationships to be able to build positivity on things that we do, because positive message does not get reflected as much as the negative message.
That's for sure.
But
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Keen? All right, thank you. Agenda item number 8, these are the reports for information and action. First up is A, NYSBA resolutions and discussion. Dr. Perry will lead a brief discussion on the proposed bylaws and resolutions for the New York State School Boards Association, which is known as NYSBA, annual business meeting, which will be held on October 16th, 2025. Dr. Perry.
So yes, there were 23 proposed resolutions that are supported by NYSBA. The annual meeting is on October 16th. We are looking for board representative to vote on behalf of South County's board. It is a virtual meeting. Mrs. Cogan has done it for the last 2 years, and can fill you in on the details of that if you were interested. But I did share with the board our review of the proposals. For the most part, they're pretty routine oriented. There were a few that were not recommended by NYSBA due to either ambiguity in the language or potential impact on other school districts. So by and large, pretty routine this year. But if anybody has questions, I can certainly answer them offline, but the comments are there as well.
As the policy chair, I'll step up and do that.
Wonderful. All right, thank you, Mr. Larrabee.
I do need a backup though, just in case.
I will be a backup, because what will happen is that you get a personalized link, because there will be voting. You sit at your computer and you.
Oh, I have to have a computer at home?
Mhm.
Stop.
Stop. You don't need to be home.
You can do it from your smartphone or.
You can do it from your, and only 2024,
23.
23? I mean, years before, it's been like.
Well, yes, you had the
Thousands.
8-hour plus day.
I had
so
the 8-hour
last
meeting.
year though they did,
You're welcome.
it was under 8 hours last year.
Well,
It was only 4 last
hours,
year, but
okay.
there's 24. Holy heck.
Hopefully it will.
Gee, thanks, Chris.
It's 4, it's no problem.
That's what I'm.
If it's 4, it's 5.
It's interesting. It is interesting.
The next part, if I can transition.
Yeah,
to
summer
that,
project
so summer
update.
project update, just to give you an overview, our high school, we are still in the process of renovating the F wing. The F wing is our English and Social Studies wing. We have about 3 classrooms that are still in progress of getting their windows and the framing put in. Those classes have been relocated to the library since the start of the year, but we anticipate, I think by the end of this week, getting back in there and having those classes functioning. They're working on some of the odds and ends related to like the door swipe system, so the locks work, making sure the door swipe system is functional. And then the AC, central air, will be online in the next month. Probably means by the time we don't need the AC, but the good thing it'll be a work in progress in getting that there. Our locker room renovations have gone well. We are back into the team rooms. They've been functioning since mid-August. We are currently renovating the MUG locker rooms, which are the MUG physical education locker rooms. So we're using the pit locker rooms, which were renovated last year and turned over to the district in February. And right now we're working through the MUG locker rooms at the high school. Laisha Kill Auditorium, about 99% complete. I just want to show you kind of a photo of that. You can see this is from a few days ago, but a great venue, carpeting, seats are back installed, both front and back of the house improvements. The soundboard was installed this week. There's training going on this week, and then again for all staff on our staff conference day on October 20th. So we're going to bring staff over from Sand Creek, which will have a similar system in the future. They're going to come over and train so they get an idea of what that's like, and we can make some adjustments. But really a wonderful area. It took us a little bit while longer than we wanted, but I think the outcome is pretty impressive. So they have plans to utilize that for some student activities in September, and we'll continue to go from there.
A lot of progress since we were there late
Yeah.
August. Wow.
It's
August
very
20th, we had
impressive.
the facilities meeting. We did tour, and there was a lot of work still
That
being
was a
done
big effort, right?
at that point in time. And Laisha Kill, the classrooms at Laisha Kill right now are being utilized. They are continuing to work on 6 classrooms at a time for the exterior facade window unit. So if you look at the front of Laisha Kill, all those exterior has been renovated, new windows and much more heating and ventilation improvements. The main wing of the building is still work in progress. So those classrooms are being utilized. There is a temporary wall that is available so the contractors can work outside and the students can be inside. We are working on 6 of those at a time. Those classrooms that are out of occupancy are relocated to the library and some neighboring classrooms that are close to the library. By October 10th, right around Columbus Day, we should be back in those 6 classrooms. We're going to take another 6 classrooms. They'll go to the library and we'll be renovating those spaces. The goal is by the end of November that all the classrooms in that front-facing part towards the tennis court side of the Laisha Kill will be renovated and up and running and new. That includes brand new window framing, central air, and heat upgrades as well. On the courtyard side of the building, those classrooms are fully functional. We're dragging on like shades right now. So they've been measured and ordered. We're hoping to get those in the next 2 weeks. So really good progress coming along in Laisha Kill. Other things that are ongoing that you may not see, the bathrooms that are outside of the auditorium are being renovated, as well as the nurses suite. That will be something that will be completed late this fall. And then the locker room areas have been gutted and will be retrofitted similar to what we're doing at the high school. So that's all stuff going on while school's in session. We're on second shift. If it's noisy, they'll work second shift, so we're not disturbing classes. So I want to switch over to Shaker Road. Shaker Road classrooms are in use. If you were there on August 20th, you would have doubted the contractors. They were still putting up sheetrock and walls and stuff like that. We got in just after Labor Day. Our teachers were exceptionally patient. Kudos to Mrs. DiMarino's daughter, who's a senior at high school. I don't know her first name, but she came over and took some cart paper and drew the teacher's name and a pencil and made it really look like an elementary classroom, not only in her mother's classroom, but all the other classrooms in that wing. So she spent hours doing this. The next day, the contractors were in there and ready to put the walls up, but we saved that paper. So it really was a temporary solution, but I want to thank her. Really made a big impression on the first day. But just to show you where the classrooms come. So these are cubbies that are now installed inside the classrooms Up above the cubbies are storage for the teaching staff. There's 24 cubbies per classroom, both a little kind of a mailbox type area, place for jackets and coats, and a place to store your boots during inclement weather. This is what the typical classroom looks like: modern furniture, lighting, and new technology in there.
And they can also break apart.
They, in this particular room, they're fixed tables.
That's
and
fixed tables.
They can move those around as needed. The younger classes, we did more of the fixed tables
That's true.
at the request of the teachers. The older ones, we do have the tables that Vincent experiences of the high school, so. So just wanted to give an idea of what it's looking like in the plan. Again, these are the model classrooms that will lead towards renovations in buildings like Saddlewood in the future, and all of our elementary schools that will eventually get there. But our sister school to Shaker Road is Saddlewood. Saddlewood will be the next school that will have that. And this is just kind of a picture from the doorway going in. So, but overall, some really good progress. Thank you to our contractors. Worked really hard throughout the summer. We had some delays for products and delays for unfound materials and things like that. But they knew they needed to get our kids back in action, and we were able to get it done safely. And we're continuing to make progress. So we're thankful for that. Appreciate the community's support, and looking forward to more progress on these classes. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions, anyone? Oh, and one thing that we're going to do at some point during the year, we're going to have an open house
Yes.
for our public, so they can come and see how things are up close and personal.
I know Leisha Kill's open house is going to be moved to later in the year. I think it's November, December.
Yeah, October 29th and then early November.
Because we wanted to make sure the classrooms are ready there. But for the high school, we're going to do kind of an open community day so that people can come through and take a look at not only the locker room facilities, the classrooms in both the F&B wing, the library renovations. If you haven't been there in a couple of years, you'll be impressed with some of the changes that have gone there. And, Mr. Ryan, I think we were working in your room today after I spoke to you. Right?
They stopped down, yeah.
You got some ceiling tiles we got to fix in John's room. We were looking at making
It's
progress
small
there, so.
potatoes though. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This might be something too that iCare would want to help out with the open house and.
I know Ms. Bullock there's colony ambassadors that work with Ms. Bullock, one of the secretaries of the high school, and there's a large majority of students that help volunteer at those.
Great.
And iCare will also be involved.
Yep. Thank you very much. All right. Agenda item number 9, reports and recommendations for action. This starts with letter A, and this goes all the way to letter L on page 6. I invite everybody to take a look. And if you have any questions, now is the time to ask.
Dr. Perry, letter H, surplus bid. That's a pretty significant jump, isn't it, in the, those prices on the used buses?
The used bus market with Auctions International are starting to average between about $4,000 and $6,000 per bus, which is above what we had gotten, 4 or 5 years ago. But yeah, it's they're hot commodities still, and I believe they are purchased and then shipped out of state. But we're thankful to get that for the buses.
Any info on bus 51, why the low mileage and they're getting rid of it?
I don't know exactly.
I thought they usually get rid of them at 100, 105,
Yeah, I'm
10,000.
guessing the perhaps the year of the bus, it was destined to do that,
15,
but I can
okay.
find out.
That would be number 10,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, $6,000 is
Yes,
better
and-
than nothing.
really, once they're out of warranty and they start to have part breakdowns, they become more costly, so.
Thank you.
And a special note is letter J, donations. Donation from the Next Step Federal Credit Union, CO Joe Wiley. And those were 8 backpacks filled with school supplies valued at $200. Thank you, Next Step Federal Credit Union. Anything else? Hearing none, I will have a motion. Ms. Gigliello, seconded by Mr. Larrabee. On the motion made by Ms. Gigliello, seconded by Mr. Larrabee, that the above stated reports and recommendations be approved. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Agenda item number 10, personnel instruction, Mr. Robilotti.
If you haven't been overwhelmed by an agenda before, take a look at this one. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going
I
on.
do wish any of the resignees best luck on their next endeavor. There's a lot of different types of appointments in here. Not gonna go through them all, but it's the business part of what goes on in my office,
Right.
making sure people get paid for clubs activities. There's some overages in there, there's some LTRs, a little bit of everything.
LTR, please.
Long-term replacement.
Thank you.
And subject coordinators, just a lot of different things, a lot of business has been going on since we last met. I'm looking to move it forward.
Chris, are the .2s off, several of them there, are they for additional classes for individual teachers, or is that?
So it's a little bit of both. If it's designated for Virtual Learning Academy, you'll see the CBLA next to it. If it's not, then it's an in-house course where we do have some areas where an individual's on a leave, so we're temporarily covering those classes for that individual. And then we also are still seeking out a chemistry teacher, so there's some overages in chemistry. Okay, there's some overages in chemistry that we're managing internally. But a majority of what you see here, I believe, are gonna be CBLA mixed in with some of our own.
And wondering, how much is the .2 stipend?
Depends on
20% of their salary.
20% of their salary, okay. And then how many I noticed we have 10 .2s for CBLA. How many students do we have enrolled in CBLA this year?
So our numbers for CBLA is about a dozen, but we're working regionally. So these classes average about 18 to 20 students in them.
Right.
And it could be anybody from the component BOCES.
What is the, I guess, average contribution that each district makes relative to the .2s?
The depends on the level of the student. So an elementary level that goes into a CBLA full-time is about a $12,000 to $14,000 cost for tuition. At the high school level, it's a percentage of that. So if it's one class, it's about $2,000 to $3,000 per class. As a district, the cost for CBLA is zero for us unless we enroll a student in there. So the staff monies that go out here is really money coming in from reimbursements from BOCES that is collected from other districts and then forwarded to South County to pay the staff here. So we get not only about the value of $100,000 on a full-time teacher. Obviously, it's prorated in 20% increments here. But between the state aid and the contributions from neighboring districts, that's basically what comes to South County. So it's not a moneymaker for us, but it's not a loser either. We do have advantages that when our students need CLA, they tend to be South County teachers. Not fully at the elementary level, but we do have an elementary teachers involved. And at the high school level, I would say we probably provide, if not 90%, 70% plus that are South County teachers supporting neighboring component districts. So our cost, Jen, is really only if we enroll a student in CBLA. And right now, I would say at the high school level, that's about a dozen kids. The elementary level was 8 to 10 last year. It's been pretty consistent the last 2 years. And it ebbs and flows a little bit, one course or another at the high school level.
So somewhere else, the money comes back to us in a
Yeah,
different
for the
stream.
staffing, it doesn't come back for the students. So when we
Right.
make a decision programmatically to allow a student to attend CBLA, there is a cost to the district to doing that. Sometimes a lot of it's medical, so rather than be on home instruction, we're able to manage it through CBLA. So, more consistent instruction and more better quality instructors than we may have at a substitute capacity.
The benefit is it follows our school day clock.
Anything else?
I just wanted to ask a question about, and this is an extension of personnel, like I'm noticing that Sand Creek does not have in its club listings esports, and I also understand that there's an esports change in hands at the high school, and I'm just, that's probably over here, I'm wondering what the plan is for that. It's reaching a demographic of students that other clubs and activities don't always.
I'll have to find out,
Okay.
I would imagine, we're probably recruiting somebody for Sand Creek if there's been a changeover. I'll try to get an answer for you.
Okay, thank you.
I wouldn't
No,
say,
another recruiting.
I would say that these lists aren't final, which is what we have now, so.
Okay.
There'd be a small, there could be a Sand Creek section next to the agenda with only 2 things.
It's a work in progress, and there may be more CDLA as they continue to grow this time of year.
All right. Anything else? Hearing none, I'll take a motion. Mr. Keen, seconded, Mr. Casey. On the motion made by Mr. Keen, seconded by Mr. Casey, that the instruction personnel changes listed on the attached sheets dated September 16th, 2025 be approved. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Agenda item number 11, personnel support. Again, Mr. Robalotti.
I wish Tim Bauer the best in his resignation, second retirement for him. He came to us several years ago and just did a great job in high school, great with the kids, just a awesome guy. So wish him the best. Just want to point out 2 probationary school bus drivers, so you can tick down 11 and 9 open positions, Mr. Casey. And our support staff, you know, they really keep us moving in so many different ways, so I love seeing appointments on the support side.
Any questions, comments? Hearing none, I'll take a motion. Mr. Blakely, seconded, Ms. Gigliello. On the motion made by Mr. Blakely, seconded by Ms. Gigliello, that the support personnel changes listed on the attached sheets dated September 16th, 2025 be approved. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Agenda item number 12, memorandum of agreement, United Public Service Employees Union. That's UPSI. I always like to say that name, UPSI. Dr. Perry?
Yeah, this was a resolution to a grievance matter that UPSI had claimed right to a particular job function. Resolution was reasonable, and the district decided to make the settlement offer in lieu of additional attorney's costs and things like that. So this employee is no longer with us, but it was a way to resolve the conflict.
Very good. Questions? Hearing none, take a motion. Mr. Casey, Ms. Gigliello. On the motion made by Mr. Casey, seconded by Ms. Gigliello, that the above settlement agreement with the United Public Service Employees Union be approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 9-0. One of my favorite parts of the meeting, number 13, the resolutions, Mr. Cacciadorian.
So trying to establish tradition last year and sticking with that this year, provided a document with you all to peruse at your leisure. I saw some of your icons popping in on the Google Doc earlier, so you are paying attention. Thank you very much. A lot of coordination between our different buildings. Certainly some things might stand out more so than others. Fire Prevention Week, it's a little bit more of a hit when we talk about our elementary schools rather than the high school, but still topical in nature. A lot of things are covered in morning announcements. There are some specific to we'll say grade levels that focus a little bit more attention, and we always love Mr. Gollard and what he shares with Citizenship and Constitution Day. One of a kind. So enjoy those if you haven't had a chance to take a look at them, and we'll continue to push forward our resolutions and make sure our buildings are, you know, paying respect to the things that the board is resolving here in these fine meetings.
No story about the Chicago fire.
New tradition.
New tradition. Ms. Julian?
I want to shout out Sand Creek and Leisure Hill for what seems to be a new event coming, a shared Hispanic celebration next month, which is amazing. And I am really applauding the effort to build community for our families that are Hispanic and those that are not. And I'm assuming welcome to join right? And learn more about
Absolutely.
other cultures.
Yeah.
I am curious about Roselleville's notable absence from the list since they have 20% of their students are Hispanic and Latino.
I can only report what's reported to me.
So that's, that I think they're double all of the other elementary schools in terms of who they're representing. So I would love to see that. And
There will
then,
be a follow-up reminder that goes out.
and to build on that, I also would encourage us to think about integration for Hispanic Heritage Month that lives and breathes through the curriculum. For the example, a third grade example that is referenced in one of the buildings, a lot of it is sort of ancillary, like morning announcements and blah, blah, blah. And I think our children need to see their likeness in their teaching and learning, and not just morning announcements and stuff. So I would really like to see some increased attention to that curricularly, and I applaud, we heard from Mrs. Judge earlier, and I know that we're working in knowledge building, and I think that that's a critically important component of that, so thank you.
Yes, and a shout out to April Maloney, obviously.
Of
for
course,
getting
always,
that Hispanic Heritage Month concept and celebration off the ground and
Yeah.
making it an inclusive experience.
for sure, yeah, but I think systemically, right, like, we lift a lot of individual people, and systemically, I would like to see us thinking about how our children of color experience our system because of us and not in spite of us as a system.
Very good, thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, take a motion. Mr. Blakely, second. Mr. Masick. On the motion made by Mr. Blakely, seconded by Mr. Masick, that the above stated resolutions be approved. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Agenda item number 14, those are our future meetings. Please take a look, and if it comes a point that you cannot attend, you can contact me, you can contact Dr. Perry, but please contact Miss Lanigan because she is the keeper of the keys and the nameplates. Thank you.
I will not be at the September 29th meeting. I'm gonna be out of town and also preparing for the October 16th meeting, so.
Oh my goodness.
Just wanted to let everybody know that.
Is that a retreat?
Somebody's gonna
Well,
milk that.
as committee chair, if we
Sorry.
need to,
One thing on the future meetings, at least on my copy, it says November 24th, that's a typo, that's not a meeting at all.
okay.
November 12th is the board meeting, it's a Wednesday due to Veterans Day, just to keep in mind there, but the 24th is not a meeting,
Okay.
so.
I'm
not sure. I don't even know what that's.
Sorry, that's,
Where that came from?
I
You're telling.
I knew it wasn't a, I'm like, that's like 3 days before Thanksgiving, I purposely didn't have one, because I thought maybe people would be traveling. No problem.
And it's where the policy committee is still shaping up the agenda and everything.
Yes, yeah, we're still working with ISBA about, it's the 9,000 section, which is personnel. So we'll work through that. We're trying to get some feedback from NISBA on that, but I don't see major changes in that. Should be pretty typical.
Very good.
Mostly review of what we had in there.
Very good. All right, thank you very much.
Can I just have to
Anything?
clarify,
Yeah.
the academic achievement committee meeting is also November 12th before?
But 5:30 that day.
Okay.
So we'll get that corrected. Academic achievements at 5:30 and the board meeting follows at 6:30 on the 12th.
Gotcha.
Topic Keel, Mr. Keel, to get back to you on that is gonna be high school update, pathways update, and portrait of a graduate.
Good. All right. Any other business before the board?
Do we need exec
We
for,
Do need an exec
yeah,
because we are going to be discussing the Hall of Fame candidates.
yeah, that was my,
That are not made public yet. All right, to enter the executive session, I will need a motion. Ms. Gigliello seconded, Mr. Blakely. On the motion made by Ms. Gigliello, seconded by Mr. Blakely to enter executive session to discuss our Hall of Fame nominees. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 9-0. Time 7:39. Thank you very much. At this point, our regular meeting is over. Thank